So today I rise on behalf of the residents of the Warren Blackwood electorate to speak on a matter of critical importance: the failure of the Cook Labor government to provide adequate and affordable government regional officer housing in our regional communities. A failure that is making it increasingly difficult for the communities to attract and retain the essential workforce that they rely on. Our regional towns are under the pump. Police officers, teachers, nurses and other key public servants are finding it hard to secure housing at a price and in a location that allows them to live and work in our communities. The lack of suitable growth stock means that many leave or never come at all, with all the downstream consequences for local services. Compounding this housing crisis, the state government's actions around revenue erosion for local governments via the forestry concessions and changes to the mining tenement rating are further stripping regional shires of the capacity to help fill the gap. On top of all that, the commercial viability of aged care facilities and home care in our regions is under threat, meaning that the housing shortage is not only hurting public service staff but also aged care staff we desperately need. In the electorate of Warren Blackwood, we see the challenge in stark relief. I will focus on the example of the Shire of Boyup Brook, which illustrates the broader problem. The Shire has had to lease houses on the open market in order to accommodate staff that should have been housed by the state. For example, the local police officer. The Shire owns a house and provides it for a community benefit, yet still finds itself leasing additional houses because state worker housing is not being delivered. Recruiting qualified staff in Boyup Brook, a level 4 shire surrounded by level 3 and level 2 shires, is already difficult, and the housing shortage compounds this challenge. The regional doctor arrangement: the Shire runs the local medical practice and the doctor also works at the state hospital, yet the Shire receives no financial assistance from the state to operate the medical practice and still has to lease a house on the open market to support staffing. On the local government revenue side, the Boyup Brook Shire is set to lose around $150,000 in rate revenue because of the decision by the Forest Products Commission to not pay rates directly to the Shire, but instead to pay equivalent amounts to Treasury under the Forestry Act. This was only advised to the Shire a couple of weeks ago after the budget was adopted. Tree farms on commercial farms add wear and tear to the roads and infrastructure, but the revenue stream is undermined. On the mining tenements front, the Shire has 24 miscellaneous mining licence properties for roads, water pipelines, etc. Each of the minimum rate of $1,222, yielding $29,320 per annum. Excluding these from rating under the forthcoming Local Government Amendment Bill 2025 would further reduce the Shire's capacity to respond. Taken together, the shortfall in state-provided housing, revenue erosion for local government and regulatory impediments are putting enormous pressure on regional communities such as Warren Blackwood. The Cook government has repeatedly emphasised its commitment to regional West Australia and to decentralisation. Yet the lived reality in many small towns is that key staff cannot be housed and record levels of infrastructure investment in water and housing still lag. Specifically, the promise of grow housing being sufficient in every regional centre is not being met. The government's push for people to move to the regions rings hollow when housing and water infrastructure are missing. The decision to allow FBC to pay equivalent rates to the Treasury rather than local shires breaks the trust local government placed in government to maintain equitable funding. The proposed mining tenement rating changes shifts costs onto shires and erode local government capacity, while the government still expects shires to house state workers and manage infrastructure. On aged care and home care, many regional aged care providers are struggling commercially because staff cannot be attracted or retained, in part due to housing and infrastructure constraints. The government has not adequately addressed the intertwined challenge. So why this matters for the community and the workforce? Essential services, police, teachers, nurses, aged care workers, when they stay away or depart, schools struggle, hospitals stretched, aged care becomes precarious. Local economy, jobs in the public sector and allied industries provide stability. When staffing falls, the ripple effect is immediate. Housing, local retail, property, population all suffer. And infrastructure resilience. Regional shires rely on rates and revenue to maintain roads, water, sewerage, housing stock. When revenue erodes, the capacity goes. Community viability. Housing scarcity means families either avoid moving to the region or leave after a short time. Towns shrink, services close, vibrancy fades. And the equity. Regional West Australians deserve the same access to quality services and infrastructure as metropolitan residents. The lack of housing undermines that principle, specifically in Boyack Brook. The Shire leasing houses on the open market to cater for state workers is an unsustainable stopgap. At the same time, the Shire is losing approximately $150,000 in revenue from the FPC rating decision, money that could go towards housing, services and roads. So, Acting Speaker, for the benefit of not only the Warren Blackwood, but for regional WA as a whole, I make the following recommendations to the government. An immediate audit of growth stock across regional WA, identify shortages and commit to clear timeline for delivery of new housing in towns like Boyack, Bridgetown, Nannup, Denmark and surrounds, and restore local government revenue streams by revisiting the FPC decision to channel rates via Treasury rather than local shires. Ensure local government is fully compensated for the road and infrastructure impacts of tree farms and licences. Also, reconsider the proposed mining tenement rating exclusion in the Local Government Amendment Act, Bill 2025, so that regional shires do not bear the burden of revenue loss while still delivering services. And ensure that regional aged care and at-home workforce housing is included in the GROW or Housing program. Recognise that failing to house aged care workers is a direct threat to service availability and to older regional Australians. And adjust housing grants such as the regional housing support to account for the unique infrastructure constraints of smaller shires. So in conclusion, Acting Speaker, regional West Australia cannot wait any longer. The Cook Labor government must show genuine leadership on regional housing, infrastructure and revenue fairness. I urge the government to step up, meet its obligations and ensure our towns are equipped with the housing infrastructure needed to attract and retain the workforce for our communities depend on. And I commend this motion to the House. Thank you.